While it's not exactly a highway, this street in Detroit will forever be known as Aretha Franklin Way. Recently named for its most famous citizen, this street is symbolic, as it is one of the many roads this musical legend has traveled to reach her iconic status as the Queen of Soul.
The moment I wake up, before I put on my makeup, I say a little prayer for you.
The road traveled by Aretha Franklin has had many twists and turns, but through it all, she's remained unwavering in sharing her gifts with the world. And while the world knows of her musical talent, many have no idea about the depth of her heart and her soul, and how she's used her skills not only as a tool to entertain, but as a beacon to shine a light and give voice to causes important to her. Her journey began in 1942 in Memphis, Tennessee. Born to the renowned Reverend C.L. Franklin and his wife Barbara, the family relocated to Detroit. Aretha, along with her siblings, literally grew up in her father's church, New Bethel. Aretha's talents quickly became evident to all as she sang as a young girl at church services. The Reverend Jesse Jackson, founder of the National Rainbow Push Coalition, recalls the first time as a young teen boy of 13 he heard Aretha sing. It was on a national radio broadcast of her father's gospel service.
And so we were listening one Sunday night. He said, "It was a special night. My daughter, my baby gonna sing." And she sang Never Grow Old. And she later said that Billy Kyles, late Reverend Billy Kyles, whose home we were on the way to when Dr. King was killed, Reverend Billy Kyles, he recommended that song to her, Never Grow Old. And so it was a hit.
Jackson says she had access to the greats of gospel, and they were her musical inspirations. After a long history with the Franklin family, Reverend Jackson says Aretha's talent and her sense of standing up for right came from her father.
Two things form who we are: our parents, our genetics, and our environment. She comes out of tremendous musical environment. I mean, the greatest of gospel singers. I mean, whether it's Albertina Walker, Cassandra George, David Sisters, all that group sang in her childhood.
Armed with deep roots in gospel music, Aretha's next stop along the road was making a major leap into the world of secular music, singing for some of the biggest labels. Columbia, Atlantic, Arista. Aretha climbed the musical charts hit after hit. Along with the hits came the fame and the accolades: 15 Grammys, Lifetime Achievement Award, first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the movies including The Blues Brothers, and the title Queen of Soul. She's performed for world leaders. She set the standard for her musical peers, often appearing with some of the greatest artists of all time. Yet, she remained loyal to her gospel foundation.
Amazing grace.
Regardless of where the road has taken her, at the center of Aretha's life is her family. Her siblings and her children have been her lifeblood. Chicago-based singer and musician Billy Always has known Aretha and her entire family personally for much of his life. Having toured and performed as a background singer with her for many years, he's seen up close her commitment to those who matter most.
If she was on the road and they were not in school, she'd take them on tour with her. You know, if there's a special event, you know, she incorporated her family as much as she could. A lot of times if Irma was singing with her, which is her older sister, or Carolyn, she'd be singing on. It depended on what they were doing.
Luke 12:48 reads, "To whom much is given, much will be required." This is a verse and a road sign Aretha has always taken to heart. It's part of her fiber. She's utilized her talent, her platform, and her resources to push forward and champion the movements of civil rights, women's rights, and human rights. Reverend Jackson recalls when Aretha came to the aid of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
With a sense of social responsibility. I remember so well on one occasion Dr. King was having difficulty making payroll because once he took a position to end the war, many people who were with him turned against him. Many pulpits were closed to him, church doors locked in his face. It was not true for New Bethlehem in Detroit. It was not true for the fellowship in Chicago. But Aretha connected with Harry Belafonte. And we took an 11-city tour. Aretha, Harry Belafonte, and the young Dr. King, a guy named Franklin Freed, who was the director of the tour. And I should never forget, it was hard even to Harry at the top of his career and Aretha to draw crowds because people were anti-Dr. King, anti-war. We got to Houston and she sang. Dr. King came on the stage to give her flowers. Someone put gas in the fans, tear gas. We had to evacuate the building and run out together. But she didn't flinch. She sang the next night.
One of Aretha's greatest hits became the battle cry for the civil rights movement and was adopted by women in their fight for equal rights.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T, find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, take F-T-C-T.
Aretha understands the critical value and importance of our HBCUs. Once again, she stepped up to the plate.
You are young, gifted, and you're black. We must begin to tell our young.
I was in her dressing room. We were on tour, and the president of Howard University came in, and she was doing her eyelashes. And he was just saying that when he was a student, how Howard was about to fold. And she did a concert to save Howard University. And it's just many, many acts of kindness. And she doesn't toot her horn. She doesn't publicly say these things because it's coming from her heart.
You better think about what you're trying to do to me.
There are other singers who can sing and dancers who can dance, but most of them will not sing and dance for freedom. They won't sing and dance for justice. They won't sing and dance sacrificially. They're always too busy. As much in demand as Aretha, she always has time to care.
Oh, freedom.